ready now. Okay, so we're going to start with some numbers. This is all based on
who you are.
I don't know, I'll get to it.
Okay.
This is just introduction. But here are some numbers. This is based on research from Carnegie Mellon. There were 2 researchers who did this a few years ago. So we found out that the median length of a privacy policy from the top 775 websites was 2,500 words. If you look at that, based on a regular reading speed, you need 10 minutes to read every single privacy policy, which you think, okay, that's fine, I can do that. But then you look at it, if you multiply that by every single privacy policy you encounter in a year, you would need 25 days in a year to actually read all of those. And then nationally, that's 53.8 billion hours. And if you think that's bad, the hypothetical national opportunity cost would be $781 billion. So you think, oh, it's a good thing that no one's reading those. This research was actually featured in The Atlantic, and senior editor there said that what that massive number tells us is that the way, is this still working?
Yeah.
Okay, is that the way we deal with privacy is fundamentally broken. Now, onto Tossigram. Terms of service made easy. I'm Andrew, and thank you all for coming here today. You can actually sign up right now at tossigram.com. I got a landing page up on Sunday, and I got a few dozen signups already. Okay, wait. All right. So if you want to see, this is how the overall layout's going to be. We're going to start out with the context. So sorry, the Prezi is running kind of slow, but there are 3 things we can assume about the situation right now. The first of all is that consumer tech will become increasingly prevalent in our daily lives. Second, privacy will be an increasing concern because there's more tech in every corner of our lives. And third, startups care about user trust. So let's go to a quote from Eric Schmidt last year at the DLD conference. He's talking about how technology is going to move forward. The most important thing he says is that it's going to be more personal with your permission. The right choice is to let you decide where that boundary is. So the problem right now is that terms of service and privacy policy are a blemish in the user experience. Let's face it, users don't want to read a 9-page terms of service full of legalese. And then on the other side, you have entrepreneurs, early-stage startups, web developers, content owners. They don't have the knowledge to draft their own legal documents. They don't want to hire a lawyer, and they don't want to just Google terms of service and try to copy it because that's not a good practice. So let's look at how we're going to solve that problem. A Tossigram is basically a capsule that you can put in your website, your social network, your mobile apps, anywhere that you're going to need a terms of service and privacy policy. It replaces the old plain text documents, and it shows your users a much easier to understand version of it. So let's look at a mockup. This is just any web app you go onto. Usually at the footer, you'll see a terms of service and privacy policy, and those are usually just links to the text documents, which is a pain to read. Tossigram gives you 2 buttons on the bottom, and you open them, you can see a basic outline of the information. For example, your personal information will not be stored or sold, and then some things you want to be aware of, like you should use common etiquette. And you can satisfy requirements. You could just click on full text to actually read it. If you really want to see everything in detail, you could search it. For example, you could, if you want to know like how old you need to be, you type in age, and it'll find a part in the document where it says age. Similarly, if you wanted to, this could work in other circumstances, like if you're filling out a form, at the bottom you need to agree to it. You can do the check mark and you can still see everything right there. And of course, the all-important mobile platform, this is going to work for mobile apps for any privacy policies you want to read and agree to. And you'll see that this is going to be important. So all of that is what the user sees, what the consumer sees when they go to your website or app. So how does it work for you if you're a startup person or an entrepreneur? So you go to tossigram.com, you click through a step-by-step process that helps you build terms of service. For example, if you know your app is going to collect user information, you might want to check that box so that we have that accounted for. And then at the end, we give you embeddable code to put so that you can get your own Tossigram and you put it in your web app or mobile app, wherever you need it. So the business, the ideal customer are the entrepreneurs, the early stage startups, the small businesses. So why would people use Tossigram? Basically, the alternatives right now, you either go to a lawyer or you try to do it yourself. And neither of those work very well. Instead of a Tossigram, you have more convenience. better customer satisfaction because they can have more transparency with your programs, and cost, because as you'll see, we have a business model, and we're going to go for freemium with multiple pricing tiers. Free, we want Tostogram to be a go-to source for everything, for whenever you need terms of service and privacy policy. If you go to a hackathon, you build something cool, you want to put it out there, you go through and build it very easily, and then the only thing is that it's going to have Tostogram branding. So for premium, if, for example, you have special requirements for your terms, you want to customize the design to better fit your website, that would be a premium tier. And of course, we also have developer and corporate for those special circumstances. So rollout strategy, there's actually a lot we can do with Tostogram. What I want to emphasize is that because it's a new idea and there's nothing to compare it to, we're going to be lean. We're going to take customer feedback and see how we're going to adapt our product to make a better fit. Partnerships and integration, that's also a really big point for us. There are actually a lot of other companies with a very similar target market to us. For example, website creation services, they're targeting also the small businesses, the new startups, or even like Kevin's Portfolio. Every storefront's going to want a terms of service so that users can see that. And with that, Tostogram comes into play and makes it the easiest choice for them. Of course, we're also helping out entrepreneurs by making it an easy process, so it's easy to pitch it as a resource for entrepreneurs. And as you saw before, Tostograms they were branded, so they create exposure just by being on different websites. And I'm going to go ahead. There are lots of things we can do in the future about it, but I'm actually going to highlight a new development. This actually happened 2 weeks ago, right before preliminary round. Basically, the California Attorney General made an agreement with Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all those companies, and it's actually a pretty big agreement. Basically, they're now going to implement privacy policy onto mobile apps, because previously the consumer law didn't cover mobile apps. So it was mostly just websites and web stores, things like that. So the California office is going to give them a 6-month time frame to actually implement privacy policy on mobile apps, and it's going to force developers to actually do that themselves. And here are just some things that you can look at. For example, this is also from the Attorney General. Okay, don't know what happened there, but you can still read it. Right now, only 5% of mobile apps offer a privacy policy because it's not part of the law, and that's going to change in the future. You can also see Christopher Olson from the FTC saying that industry should actually focus on privacy instead of waiting for Congress to do anything about it. And something else I guess I could talk about. Okay. Is that Tostogram in the future, I guess, if it's implemented on more and more things, it could be a stamp of trust. It could be something that consumers look at, and basically they can see that the app is transparent. It's not going to do anything bad to your information. And so I can welcome any questions. Those are things you can just look at.
Well thought out presentation. I think you've got something there, particularly with the stamp of trust and the mobile. You know, focus more on the mobile. Figure out how to.
Give him the mic.
Give him the mic. Yeah. There you go. I'm stuck. I got it.
I guess that's the mic. I said he's got a well thought out presentation. I think he's got something there between the stamp of trust and the mobile, and I think that's where you probably ought to be focusing. So nice job.
So legally, I mean, these privacy policies are big because they need to cover a lot of ground, right? So you've consulted lawyers and all this, that this is something, I mean, you'll have the full text, I get it, behind it, but still, I think legally, is this?
I've talked to a few lawyers that I know, and they were okay with the idea. It's something that's possible to do. It is sort of an issue because you say there's a lot of things in privacy policy, but I think there are certain things that will be very important for a user, and that's what's going to be highlighted in that little box that users see immediately.
But will it protect the publisher? I mean, like, the person who's putting the privacy policy forward, they're putting it forward for protection. Again, the consumer doesn't like it, but it's to protect them.
Yeah, I guess we have to like balance it,
Yeah.
whether it's more in favor of consumers or entrepreneurs. But basically, we're looking for like early stages entrepreneurs just starting out, and they can go through a process very easily instead of going to a lawyer. Any other questions? Okay.
You realize the guy that just asked you a question worked for a small company by the name of Google.
Yeah, I know.
So like, would a potential feature of your website be like seamless integration apps? Because I know using the Android SDK, it's the most like underdeveloped SDK I think I've ever used in my life. So a potential feature of your website be like you upload your app file, it deconstructs it, and it seamlessly integrates your terms of service into it.
Yeah, I guess that's actually a good idea. We were originally thinking just like an API so that developers can integrate it, but that's a good idea.
Well, thank you very much.
8 o'clock.
We've heard from our 6 presenters. We're right on time at 8 o'clock. We're going to convene the judges down the hall, and we will have a little powwow down there. We hope to be back in 10 minutes, so don't go far. So if you would bring your bills and any notes that you might need. Yes, Jose, don't leave home without trying to
That would be a good idea.
Someone mentoring. There you go. You're pretty
You were
high up on
nervous.
MIT, are you not?
You were nervous.
You happen to know the admission.
That's the first time I've noticed it ever.
I'm
Yeah.
trying right now.
Yeah.
I actually don't like public speaking at all. This is the first time I've done public speaking since freshman year. I was on the debate team in the last tournament. This was terrible.
I just wanted to
Well, you've been fine. You know, but I just noticed you were more nervous tonight than you were before. But you loosened up by the time you got going. You were nice job. Nice job. Well, I have no idea how they're gonna judge these guys. So these guys told you your product was too expensive, and the opposite of what the other just told you. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? So what they were trying to say though is, don't get into the hardware business. But you guys didn't want to. You want to have someone develop it. So you didn't answer that question, but that's what you're intending. Jacob, how you doing?
Good, how's it going? Nice to see you too. I like this. It's a great job.